I try to be very open about my struggles with mental illness because I know how isolating it is to be in the middle of it. I know that it's so stigmatized still. There's so much taboo around it. Um, that there are so many people who are terrified to say out loud that they are struggling with mental illness, but so many of us are. I believe the latest statistic is 1 in 5 people in the US has experienced a mental illness issue. Um, I'm guessing at this point it's higher than that. After all of the trauma we have been living through the last few years, and it has been trauma, we have all been traumatized uh, by COVID and everything it did to so many people, and how it completely changed how we live and interact with each other. And then, I mean, everything else, it's one dumpster fire after another, after another, after another. And it's it's really hard not to be impacted by that. All that to say, mental illness is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that you're paying attention. It's a sign that you've been hurt. It's a sign that you are fucking strong because you're still here and you're fighting that mental illness. You are not letting it win. That's, trust me, I know, I know what it can take. Um, and were it not for incredible luck and amazing healthcare professionals, it would have gotten me. Illness would have beat me. Mental illness would have beaten me. Um, so I'm saying all of that because I am going through a depressive period right now, and I haven't wanted to say that out loud. Um, I haven't wanted to really have to admit that I'm in that zone, um, because it's been months that I have felt completely free of the dark place, like liberated, fully in the sunshine and loving it. And I never, ever, ever wanted to have to go back there. And I'm not there. I'm visiting. I'm on the outside ring. Like, I'm looking into the dark place, but I'm not there. And I'm not suicidal, have no suicidal ideations. I very much want to be here. Um, I just want the world to be very different. I want here to be very different. Um, but so I was disappointed in myself. I was sad, um, that I had to experience this again. Um, I feel shame and guilt for not being able to show up the way I want to with my work, which I love. And I have the most amazing colleagues, and truly, and I'm gonna go into a lot of love stories about Sue John, as we all get to know each other better. But my leader, Sue John, she is the pinnacle. Like, she is everything I want to be. Like, so, so smart, so savvy, so funny. And she has the hugest heart, like the most compassionate person, and patient and understanding. And I know all of this because I've been working with her for 4 years now, plus. And throughout that period, I've spent more of it not being able to work because of depression than I have actually being able to work. And I'm still working for her. And she's still just always giving me affirmations. And I mean, I just got a promotion. And I feel so guilty that I feel like I'm not earning it. Like, I don't deserve it because I can't even show up again. Ugh. So I've been beating myself up, um, and not wanting to admit it that this is happening. So I've been going into some old patterns which are not healthy, and I know, and I'm trying to break them, but it's hard. um, and I know, like, I'm scared because I worry how much this is going to happen for the rest of my life. Like, is this going to just keep happening over and over, or am I going to reach a point where I really am stable enough to handle whatever comes next? I don't know now. I have no idea. And that's scary. I don't I'm not worried at this point anyways that I'm gonna be in like serious trouble again. Um, I'm hoping that I'll be able to figure out whatever it is that I'm trying to figure out. I've realized that that's what my depression really is. It's like my brain is swirling, trying to figure out why something happened, or trying to figure out just trying to make sense of everything, of the world, of my life. Um, and there's just so much going on in there. It's all I can focus on, and I'm not even it's like I'm guessing, obviously, but I'm guessing that I'm aware of like 5% of the stuff that's going on in there, because I didn't know for years what I was really hiding from myself. So, for decades. Um, and it makes it impossible to focus on anything else. It makes it like when I'm like this, I don't trust my mind. Um, I feel like I forget things a lot, and I am, yeah, memory is a whole nother conversation. Um, okay, I'm in a depressive, what's the word I used before? Depressive state, depressive period, whatever. Um, and I don't know how long it's gonna last. My normal uh, processing methods aren't working right now. Like, usually when I write, I can like start putting things together. But that hasn't done it. So now I'm trying this, seeing if just like talking it out really to myself and all of my imaginary friends out there. Um, it is cathartic for sure. And I'm hoping it'll help me with the processing. It happens a lot when I talk with Ben, but that hasn't been doing it. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm stuck on right now. I've got some contenders and I'm trying to figure out what it is about each thing that's bothering me that I can't move past. But I don't have answers to that yet, because I think if I did, I wouldn't be feeling like this. I'd have the clicking moment where everything just makes sense and you're like, "Oh, I can see. There we go. That was it. Okay, we can move on now." Oh god. Um yeah. This episode was triggered by like a perfect storm of uh, bad things. Like, uh I have the best dog in the world. That she is the best thing that has ever existed, ever, in all of time and space. I love this dog. Her name's Callie, and she's curled up next to me on the floor right now. And can't hear that I just said her name because she's pretty much deaf. Like, she can hear clapping sometimes. And other random things, but nothing consistently. Um, she is almost completely blind now. Um, and it has its cute moments because she'll like adorably bump into things, and she's got this halo thing that she wears now when we're out in places she's unfamiliar with, so she doesn't actually end up hurting her face. Her vet told me about that after she had hurt her face, and I felt like the worst dog mom in the world. Excuse me. Um, so Callie and I have been together almost 15 years. Her gotcha day is October 13th, and I don't know exactly when she was born because she, to the best of my knowledge, was found on the street in Daejeon, Korea. Um, I never got to hear any of her backstory because the woman who ran this shelter was her backyard, and she didn't speak English, and I didn't speak Korean, so we didn't really get to have much of a conversation, um, beyond like the very very basics I picked up, just you know, to survive and be polite. Um, where was I? Okay, right. So, uh, about a month and a half ago, she was like really slowing down. She's been slowing down a lot in the last year. Um, like I until a couple months ago, I still had people stopping me all the time asking if like she was how old the puppy was and shocked when I told them that she was a senior citizen. Like she's she's just come on, look at this puppy. Hey baby. I don't know if that actually I couldn't see the thing. I hope it did. I hope it got her. Um anyway, so she had slowed down a lot. She just seemed really miserable. She was bumping into things and hurting herself, and I didn't know what to do about it. Um, and like I could just feel her slipping away, and I knew that it was really happening because for the first time since I've had her, I let myself really feel the truth in the fact that she's going to die. And despite the deal I made with her when I decided to like stop pretending that she wasn't my soul puppy and just my foster, I promised her that I would give her the best life I possibly could on one condition. She had to live forever. And she seems to be going back on her word, which is just bullshit. um, I knew logically that this day was going to come, but I was not ready for it. Um, there's never, I would never be ready for it with this girl. Um, so because I could feel it, I knew that she was really, there was something wrong. So I brought her to the vet. Like it wasn't just in my head, you know. I brought her to the vet, and she said that like she's not in immediate danger, and we can get her on some meds to help with a few things. And she told me about the halo. I got Muffin's halo. Um, if you have a blind dog, look it up. Muffin's halo. It has changed the game for her. It's this little like wire thing that attaches to um like these wings that come up over their shoulders, and when that bumps into something it like pushes a little like totally gently on their like shoulders so they can tell like they've come up against some kind of resistance. And I can't tell you how it changed her. Like she was just petrified everywhere she went unless it was like her home turf, because she didn't know what she was about to run into and how she was going to hurt herself next. And when she had that on the first time, I saw her about to walk into a corner and I knew it was going to completely protect her. So I let it happen because when it did, like as soon as she realized she had hit the corner, I saw her eyes like scrunch up and like the fear come over her face. And she was like tensing, bracing herself for impact. And then she just felt the little push on her shoulders and like you saw it like take a second to register. She was like, okay. And then she like just went off. And the more that happened, the more she realized this thing is here like for a good reason. Yay. Um, yeah, we're both fans of it now. And it's just adorable because sometimes when she's like in a trot, it'll just like bounce up and down. It's just ridiculous. I'll get you a video of that sometime. So, Callie is doing better at this point than she was then. She is still almost 15 years old, so I know we're in the last, I don't know. I don't know how long I've got. Um, Her vet said to expect months. I mean, she could surprise us. And it could just happen a lot more quickly than that. At her age, she could have a heart attack or stroke or anything. But she's in really good shape as far as a 15-year-old, 16-year-old dog almost um, can be. She's still, when she feels confident, she still has a little trot in her. Doesn't last as long as it used to, but so I'm losing my baby girl, who is the reason, one of many, but she saved my life more than anyone. Um, yeah, that's a whole another thing. I'm losing Callie. Um, my relationship with my mother is, to call it strained is putting it very lightly. Um, it used to be wonderful. But there was always like this tension there that I couldn't pinpoint. I couldn't figure out what it was until a few years ago. Um, Short version of this story is she's been out of my life for the last 4 years or so. Um, I needed to not have any contact with her in order to go through the healing that I needed to go through. Um, so it was a decision I made for my mental health, and I know it worked. So I do not regret it for a second. I'm very proud of myself for, in the moments in the beginning where I just wanted my mom, I just wanted her to hug me. But then I would remind myself why I'm staying away from her. And it it really was what was best for me. But recently I have reached out to her and we've started to attempt to build a new relationship. She still, I really think she still believes that this is rebuilding our relationship, but no. Because that relationship was built on a lot of pain and a lot of lies and avoidance. And I will not ever again have a significant relationship in my life where any of that is true. Um, I just refuse. So yeah, she really doesn't understand the healing journey of therapy and trying to recover from mental illness, because I think it's something she's tried to avoid thinking about for a long time. Because if she were honest with herself, if she let herself really think about it, I think she'd realize maybe this is something I need to do. And that's a terrifying prospect for someone who has spent 65 years, almost very close to 65 years, just in denial and refusing to face those things. And it's because it was taught. That's what she learned. That was the coping mechanism. That was her trauma response. And that's really what her reaction to my trauma was. That wasn't her. Oh, I have to keep reminding myself this because I forget. I go back to the how the fuck did you let that happen mode? And then I remember it was her trauma response. She got triggered when I told her what had happened to me. I really had forgotten that I had figured this out. Yeah, I just got so mad at her. It's her trauma response. She doesn't know how to respond in a healthy way to real emotional stress. That just, it's that simple. That doesn't make her a bad person. And it's like getting that out just then was a little hard for me. I won't lie. Because for 4 years, I really villainized her. I really, really hated her and my father. He got blamed too. But it hurt more from my mother because I had thought we had such a good relationship before. With my father, I never felt close to him. He never let me in. And I have guesses as to why that's true, but I'll never know. He died. Um yeah, he died a few years ago. Um but to have to realize that my mom, who I admired so much and wanted so much to be like, and really prided myself every time I saw a piece of her coming out of me, usually in acts of kindness and compassion, because they just roll out of her, honestly. Every time I extend kindness to someone, that's her coming through me. And I used to be so proud of that. And now I try to avoid thinking about that. But I need to remember where that came from. Man, it is hard going through all of this, huh? You think you've got it figured out, and then you're all of your like classic defense mechanisms, they still want to be firing off because that's how your brain got wired after so much time in depression. Like, it knows how to function in one mode. It's only ever known how to be depressed. Like, the chemical balance, the wiring, like all of it is built around a depressed mind. And now that I'm like doing better and trying to break patterns, it's like, wait, but this is how I operate. And I mean, that's why meds are very helpful and I am on them. So don't worry. Um, but they can't do everything.